Hi everyone, I'm Sophie. Welcome back to VegucatED. Today I'm going to be talking about something quite serious. Today's going to be more of a serious sit and chat video. I'm going to be talking about what it's really like to struggle with anorexia. I think this is an important topic to share because unfortunately anorexia is glamorized a lot in the media, in the world. The reality is that eating disorders are deadly illnesses. Anorexia specifically has the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. It's glamorized because people don't know what it's actually like. A lot of people think it's just all about being skinny. But the reality is that eating disorders are horrible, torturous illnesses that destroy lives and that kill people. They're not glamorous in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to speak on my experience with anorexia and share some truths and what it's really like to suffer from this illness. People think it's different from what it really is. When you're anorexic, you become so consumed by the disease that your entire personality, your entire self, everything that makes you, just goes away. You're never able to be present because you're always worried about food and what you look like and numbers and if people are looking at you and if you're good enough. It makes you so obsessive and it makes you such a perfectionist, yet you never feel good enough. Even if you hit some sort of goal, like a weight, you might feel good for a few minutes, but then you just go right back to where you started. You don't feel like it's good enough, and then you feel like you have to go further, and it just continues on in a cycle and until you're so sick or until you're dead. All you can think about is food that you haven't even eaten, or if you have eaten, all you can think about is how guilty you feel and that you shouldn't have eaten as much as you did, or you shouldn't have eaten the food that you did. You just can't think about anything else but your disorder and food and weight and numbers. It's mental torture because you just think about how much you hate yourself. You just have so much self-hatred, and not only do you look in the mirror and hate what you see, but you start to lose yourself and you start to hate the person that you are. It's not just about what you look like physically. It's not just about how thin you are or how much you weigh. It's up here and you feel like a failure. Anorexia destroys relationships and it has such an impact on your family, your friends. You isolate yourself from your friends and from your family because you don't want them to see what's going on. You don't want them to worry. You don't want them to see what you're really doing. You're scared that if you go out with friends or if you spend time with your family that there's going to be food there and you're going to have to eat something because you don't want to look like you're not normal. You lose interest in everything. You feel like you want to do things, but you just don't have the energy to do things. You lose yourself. You lose your personality. You cut yourself off from the world, and your life just becomes all about this disorder. You just get sucked into it so fast. You become very secretive. You become mean. Because you're just so defensive and you're so focused on hiding your disorder or on maintaining your disorder. When somebody tries to help you or somebody says something about your illness, you get so defensive and you get mean and you just become an entirely different person. You become a puppet of the anorexia and it controls what you say and do. The longer you're in the disorder, the more of yourself you lose. The more weight you lose, the more of yourself you lose. No matter how bad it gets, you could be on death's door, you could be going into organ failure, yet you never feel sick enough. You could be on the brink of death and you still don't feel sick enough. You still don't feel worthy enough to get help. You lose all your self-worth, and as it goes on, your self-worth is just taken away little by little until you feel like you're worth nothing. This can lead to refusing to get help because you feel like you don't deserve it, and you feel like other people should have the help because other people are sick, and you can recognize it in other people. You can look at somebody else who's struggling with an eating disorder and be like, wow,
this person is sick. They don't see how wonderful and beautiful they are.
And you feel horrible for that person, yet you look at yourself, and even though you're just as sick, you don't see that, and you don't think you're worthy of help. And you don't see yourself the way other people see you. Your body and your personality. Common thing with anorexics is body dysmorphia. You look in the mirror and you see a completely different person. You think you don't have a purpose. The eating disorder becomes your entire purpose. It starts to feel like a friend, and at the beginning you feel like you're in control. You feel like you can control what you eat. You can control your life, until it goes on, and you realize that you're not in control. Your eating disorder is controlling everything you do, and you just can't stop. Not only is it so torturous mentally, but physically as well. The anorexia is just so detrimental to your physical health. Your physical health declines so fast when you're anorexic. You become weak. You're cold all the time, and your bones hurt, and your bones stick out, and they get bruised. You get this fuzzy hair all over your body, and it feels embarrassing sometimes. Even getting out of bed sometimes can just be so hard and so exhausting. Doing the simplest of tasks, taking a shower, going to the grocery store can feel like this monstrous task. You see other people having a life, and you just can't even fathom having a life like that. It gets to a point where you can't even imagine a life without the anorexia. You see people who don't have eating disorders, you see people eating, and you just feel so confused and so taken aback because you don't understand how other people can eat and be so free, just not care about it and not give it a second thought. You don't understand. Eventually, you don't even remember what it's like to not have this eating disorder. You don't remember what it's like to be able to eat and not care. You lose so much. You miss out on so much. I missed out on so much of my childhood, and I missed out on my teens. High school was terrible. Elementary school was terrible because my eating disorder was it just took over everything, and I wasn't able to enjoy anything. I can't enjoy having a meal with my family. I never go out with them. They like to go out to eat all the time and, go to try new restaurants and have family dinners, and I never go because I'm too afraid of the food, and I'm too afraid to eat, and I'm too afraid of what people are gonna say if they watch me eat, because the way I eat is weird. You just become so secretive, and you hide and you shut yourself away so that you don't have to face it. The eating disorder just becomes a shield, like a front that keeps you from dealing with the deeper issues that you have. You lose so much time because you end up in treatment, and sometimes you're there for months, for years. I've lost so much time being in treatment when I could have been out living my life and enjoying things and enjoying food and enjoying other people's company, and everything starts to feel pointless. There are people out there who wish for anorexia because they think that it's gonna make them thin and beautiful. But there's nothing beautiful about starving yourself to death. There's nothing beautiful about your bones sticking out and being covered in bruises and fuzzy hair. Your body's growing hair to try and keep you warm, and then you start to lose the hair on your head. Calories that you do consume go to trying to repair your organs. It's not going to go to growing your hair, because that's not important for survival. Your body's trying to keep you alive. You just keep deteriorating physically and mentally until you just feel like this shell of a person, and your old self feels like a ghost, like something that never was. You feel like it was all a dream, and you start to forget the person that you were. You want to stop and you want to get out of it, but you just become so sucked into it that it feels like you can't stop. You're just so hungry all the time, and your body and mind are so starved that you just don't care about anything. You just become so foggy and you can't think straight. Like, I get nervous to go in the car and drive because my mind is always so foggy and I'm worried that I'm just gonna lose focus and crash the car or something. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is that anorexia isn't something you should ever wish for. It's not glamorous, it's not beautiful, it's not this beautifully tragic thing. It's a disease that kills so many people and that destroys so many lives. It rips families apart. Nobody deserves to have this illness. Nobody deserves to have any type of eating disorder. They're all deadly illnesses. They're all illnesses that need to get out of your life because they're not sustainable. You can't just live the rest of your life like that. You can't, because if you just keep going, then eventually your body's just gonna stop working and it's just gonna be like,
if you're not here for it, then I'm out.
So I guess that's all I have to say for now. I suppose you can't really understand it unless you've lived it, but you can be educated about it and you can learn about it. And if you're somebody who's struggling with anorexia or any other eating disorder, you can get better. You don't have to live the rest of your life like this. This is not how life is supposed to be. I hope that this video was insightful, maybe a little educational. I hope that if you're somebody who is starting to go down the path of disordered eating, maybe you're watching this and maybe you can turn it around before it becomes a full-blown eating disorder, because you are worth so much more than living a life with an eating disorder, because it's hell, it's torture. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video because it's important that people know the reality of the disease. And let us know what you want to see in our upcoming videos. We're always looking for new video ideas. We love hearing from you guys. Bye guys.